one of the purest, simplest, and most divine pathways to instantaneous healing and demonstration. And that is giving thanks in advance. Keep thy heart pure and thine eyes single, for out of it are the issues of all success. Be ye as little children, and ye shall inherit the kingdom of heaven. Have you ever wanted something new to take place in your life and wondered, well, how do I go about doing it? What do I do to see this, get this thing in motion? The answer is, begin by giving thanks in advance for the thing itself already accomplished. It is like a laser beam of love, trust, truth, and faith that strikes right through to the center of universal mind and activates all substance on all levels, magnetizing, propelling, and impelling all of mind and all of substance to respond to you, in the form of producing for you the thing you have accepted. Waves part, walls crumble, and mountains of resistance fade away in front of these three words: I give thanks. The grateful heart is one with the heart of God, and therefore can know only the richest demonstrations and success. It perceives no obstacles, claims no illusions. It is not alterable, nor changeable, nor erratic in the face of appearances, yet unconditionally accepts with the deepest inner conviction the absolute certainty of divine result. It is the heart, mind, and consciousness that knows it is one with the greatest power there is, and that this power is ever ready to respond, ever eager to release, please, and fulfill, as the greatest servant, to produce in glorious and magnificent ways the things named, the things that we have already given our thanks for. So next time you are wondering what to do, who to contact, and who to call, how to fulfill that inner prompting known as desiring, wanting, needing, instead of getting caught up, slow down and begin to mentally give thanks consistently, lightly, and lovingly to that great universal mind you live in, which is the mind of love. Give thanks morning, noon, and night, inwardly, silently, continuously. Let this become a way of being as you move through all. Keep your pact with the one unlimited life you are. Honor your divine nature and your position as a child of God, and wonders will happen. Thanks in advance makes you irresistible and compels all good to move towards you. Live in the idea of accomplishment and be secretly excited about how the universe shall bring it through for you this time. What new wonderful gift for you has God devised this time? So let us go within now to the sacred point of contact with the One. And here at the perfect center of all being, all cause, and all creation, let us bring to mind now that idea we are right now desiring to fulfill. Let us pour the light of being in, through, and around that idea, recognizing that it is divine, Spirit's perfect idea for us, as important to God as it is to us, as much a part of God's desire for us as our desire. In fact, desire is God urging us to give thanks, to accept new empowering and enriching good. And we say together now silently, in the consciousness of my completeness, and in the perfect mind and heart of oneness and love, I give thanks in advance for the perfect accomplishment here. I keep my heart pure and mine eyes single and full of light. I am the attitude of gratitude in and through all, and moment to moment, experience to experience, I reap the richest good as the wonders of heaven and earth unfold for me. And so it is. Yesterday, Reverend Steve asked me to give the contemplation, and at that moment I said, but I'm not prepared. So I'm walking home, and I'm wondering, well, what should I give it on? Or what idea do I want to share? So sure enough, Spirit produced my neighbor, who approached me on the street and said, Linda, as I was walking home, and she shared with me an event that had happened that I was not aware of. A couple of days ago, I noticed leaking in my ceiling, and I called the plumber, to come and deal with it. He had been demolishing the apartment above me. So I called the plumber, and he came in, and I said, now, you sure I can take a shower? And he'd say, everything's fine. And he said, yes, go right ahead. We'll take care of it. You can take your shower, you can leave the apartment, everything's fine. So I went about my business, and later in the day, I called my landlord to request a paint job, which the bathroom now needed. And the landlord says to me, your ceiling fell in 5 minutes after you left. So my neighbor related this to me, and she said, you should have seen it. You should have seen those chunks of whatever it was. She said, if you had been there, you would have been dead. Certainly I would have been hurt to some degree. I have all this week, in one way or another, become aware of the idea that Spirit goes before me, always, even in areas that I'm not conscious of. And when you're living in the presence of God, you are actually experiencing the kingdom of heaven and earth. In talking about liberty and fulfillment, Ernest Holmes says, where there is spirit, there is liberty. He goes on to say, to demonstrate liberty, drop all negative thoughts from the mind. Do not dwell upon adversity or appearances, but think plenty into everything. Meditate on the things you are doing as already being done, complete and perfect. As the power of your meditation is centered on what you are doing, life flows through that thing, animating it with real power and action, culminating in the desired result. So let us take a moment right now, each one of us, and turn the light of consciousness within. Select a particular area where you would like to experience fulfillment. Turn your viewing on that area. Let us mentally notice in that area now wherever or whatever seems to be wanting, lacking, desiring, or needing the energy of fulfillment. Let us say now together to that area within, speaking as we would to the most beloved child, Spirit goes before me and prepares the way. I am rich in liberty, grace, and fulfillment. Okay, let's look again, let's see it again, and say again with all the love in our hearts and beingness, Spirit goes before me and prepares the way. I am rich in liberty, grace, and fulfillment. So you see, we are each one of us already gifted with the most magnificent source of all good, which always stands by us, ever ready and ever responsive to our every need and our every request, which is always listening to us and sensing us, tuned into our every word, to our every requirement. As a faithful servant, or the most beloved friend, Spirit thinks of every detail, even ones we may not be conscious of, and makes our pathway light and fulfilling. So this week, let us commit to this idea that whenever these areas we have contemplated this morning come to our mental attention, each one of us will stand still in consciousness, not refer to any negative memory whatsoever, and we will say, Spirit goes before me and prepares the way. I am rich in liberty, grace, and fulfillment. And so to rise above the contemplation of conditions is to enter that field of causation which makes all things new in our experience. From this viewpoint, there is no hard nor easy to handle, no big nor small. It's all the same to the one healing power. This means that our knowing of our good, our absolute inner assuredness of demonstration, must be independent of any existing circumstance whatsoever, else it will not enter the realm of unconditioned causation. These powerful statements have such magnificent meaning, pointing to that truth about us, wherein lies the promise and the revealing of the perfect pathway of complete freedom from all limitation. By these words, Ernest Holmes is telling us that there is that part of us which is eternally free, which is ever available and ready to respond to us. which knows no history about us and no limitations, which only knows and sees us as itself, as perfect, whole, unlimited, and complete. There is within us that which is divine, all-capable, which knows no problem whatsoever, and to which all demonstrations are easy, for within it is the substance of all, and this is our divine self, the highest aspects of our natures, which has never been diluted by any experience of limitation. So when we are working on bringing into being a new goal, idea of any sort or dimension, size, shape, or import, all we need to do is partner up, form an inner alliance with our highest self, which is Spirit, God, the magnificent essence of our being, and our greatest resource, and release ourselves from the delusion that we are our experiences, our pasts, or our conditions. In recognizing the truth of our eternal oneness, with this great source of our lives and all lives, we enter the realm of first cause, which is free of the limitations of the past. When we consciously ally and identify with our true inner being, all good becomes unconditionally available. We are positioned to bring forth, to express demonstrations of the highest magnitude, for we are working with the substance of all. We are free of repetition, evolving now consciously with God power, that atomic power which is always moving into the good, the better, the best. That total power within, which is contained the complete idea of unfoldment and success. Time has no meaning, and all good becomes now. There is ever and only one problem, and that is an idea of separation from that good which we are. Ever and only one solution, to become one again in conscious recognition of our own divinity. Right where we are, the totality of God is. So let us go within now and select an area where we have held some favorite idea of limitation, and let us say within, I let this go now, for to the God within me this is no limitation and finds no root in me. It is no person, place, or thing. I know I have access to all good, and I now invite the truth of my unlimited good to manifest in the place of this limitation. I exchange the limited for the sublime. And so it is. Good morning.
Good morning.
This morning I want to begin with a statement from Ernest Holmes. He says, "See only what you wish to experience and look at nothing else." Cannot the great principle of life create for us all that we need? And is it not always thinking in terms of our good? The universe is inexhaustible, it is limitless, knows no bounds and no confines. We are relieved of all thought of clinging to anybody or anything, for we are not depending on a reed shaken by the wind, but upon the principle of life itself, for all that we have, or shall ever need. It is not some power, or a great power, it is all power. These are the great realizations that free us completely. And let us know that as spiritual beings, we are never dependent upon person, place, or thing for our good. We definitely bless and love our particular sources as our current channels of good. Yet we recognize that within every particular source is actually the one source, supplying us with love, money, happiness, and all. In addition, we recognize that no source is the sum total of our good, yet only a part of the whole of our good operating. In my Father's house are many mansions. And what is it that eternally provides us with good? Spirit itself. That very sublime substance that brought us into being follows up its creative action with supplying us and taking care of us. For we are in it, of it, and partake of its good. So know that whatever good you are now desirous of bringing into being, that very essence of all life that thought of you and brought you forth as its beloved expression has also simultaneously thought of every expanded phase of your good and of ways and means of supplying beyond human knowing. This power always comes forth with your good as its perfect sustaining action. Channels may flux and change, grow and flow, but they are always God's choice and God in disguise. So don't be fooled by appearances. Have faith in all, and recognize everything always works together for your greatest joy. Cultivate that faith which knows no opposites, and it shall be done unto you as you believe. So let us go within now to that perfect center where all radiant life and the full presence of God is. Let us view our particular good from on high and see it completely unfolding wonderfully now. See ourselves accepting that good, fulfilled and rejoicing. See ourselves as God sees us, our lands infilled, our lives joyous, liberated, and free. And let us say together within now, I am the way and the life. In me is the substance of all good and all fulfillment. I rest secure and free, knowing my oneness with all. And say with me now, I circulate and vibrate now in the high, rich, providing atmosphere of the substance of God, in whom I live and move and have my being. All my prayers are answered.
All my prayers are answered.
And all my days are blessed.
And all my days are blessed.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This morning I'd like to contemplate a statement by Ernest Holmes. Healing is not a process, but a revelation. For the revealing of the perfect man always heals. By this statement, Ernest Holmes tells us that there is ever and always that divine part of ourselves that has never suffered from lack, want, or limitation, never known anything but perfect God, perfect man, and union with the totality of all good. That doesn't know of past nor future, yet abides in the awareness of the eternal now. That has never been touched by time, nor space, nor outer circumstances, that has no past history, nor memory to refer to, save that which is divine. It is this aspect of our perfect natures that is always prodding us to seek out and bring out the good, the better, the best. From deep within, this inner life that we are reminds us that we are one with all of life and all of life. That we can do, be, and have everything. That we are one right now with all the good there is, having all and being all. To the degree that we are harmonized with the greatness within, we then shift our experiences. Sometimes it seems with a snap of our fingers to reveal the divinity within. To the degree that we understand the completeness of our divinity now, the absolute omnipotence and sacredness of our position as a son or daughter or divine idea of God, the more we shall be the victory and the light with the illusory Maya of experiences at our feet. For all that good out there we experience as joyous relationships, financial well-being, and mastery in our worlds is merely the reflection of the goodness and totality within. The more we can inwardly sense that we live in the absolute essence of good, the presence of God, which is alive at every point of the substance of our good, that we are individual points, outlets for that good expressing, that all there is now, that now all the power in the universe is gathered within us and expressing by means of us, the more that we will experience ceaseless flow of satisfaction in all manifestation in our lives. Or as Michael Landry expressed to me yesterday, as he was experiencing joy and harmony and just thinking of something and the thing showed up, he said, I am having an all-day demonstration where everything is responding to me. So let us go within now. and contact that total substance of all life. Let us recognize its unlimited and complete and responsive presence now. Its absolute desire and capability to handle, heal, and manifest all. Right here and at this very moment, right where you are. Let us recognize that we are one with this power. It serves us completely. There are no other powers in our lives. Now let us direct our attention to some good we have thought is not us, that we have postponed or are futurizing, holding off. And let us say within, I recognize that you are mine now. For all good in my life is now, and I am all there is now. And I accept and bring this healing good into being now by means of the allness that I am. Nothing deters me from experience this that I am now. And so it is. A quote from Ernest Holmes. God is the river of life, the divine pressure that seeks to express itself through us. Each one of us is an inlet to the divine and an outlet of divine essence. But because we are individuals, we can inhibit its flow. We can block it or squeeze it down to a small volume, or even stop it. Or by opening the channels of faith and conviction and hope, we can increase its flow. Now, I just want to mention that I went up to Niagara Falls, and this particular statement really struck me because I've been seeing a lot of activity of water lately, and it is so powerful how that water rushes down the falls. You become so aware of such immense power, and I think of that, and it flows all the way down through, finding its way through every possible avenue channel, creating avenues all the way down to the Hudson River, which is very still and serene, and where it finds one of its resting spots. So when I think of what Ernest Holmes is saying about the river of life, I think of this immense source which is always pressuring its power and its beingness from within us, and wants to come out and express freely, flowingly. So where we are experiencing congestion, it is because we are trying to be fountains on our own, not realizing that each one of us is rooted in God, that there is a power greater than we are, greater than all our experiences, and this is our source. Jesus said there is a fountain of life from which your life is drawn, and if you will unstop everything in your mind that congests this fountain, you will be whole. Clear your mind of everything that doubts the existence of God. Live as though love were the great reality. Bless and curse not, and then accept and let. So many times, especially when we are about to make great advances in our lives, we reach those points where perfect solutions or resolutions seem impossible. How will our good come? Where will it come from? Where we are even sometimes about to give up and cash in our goals, our faith in ourselves, and our good. Where all human efforts seem to have failed. And I myself hit one of these recently, so I know whereof I'm speaking. These are the times where by means of apparencies, our divine natures are in truth beckoning us and prodding us from within to expand beyond all familiar references and to reach for a higher faith, conviction, and knowing than ever before. A faith in a greater power beyond human knowing. Times when we have the opportunity to rise to another level of awareness of invincible oneness with all good, and a power, knowing that power that can instantaneously provide us with all. It is at this point, these points, that we are called upon to release all vestiges of separation and control, where we stretch in consciousness beyond all human reasoning, limitations, and thresholds of belief, and enter that land of faith where indeed we have at last handed all over to divine love, solution, and outcomes. I often like to use the phrase, Spirit goes before me, providing all. So it is at these points when God our source is called upon, and when all is turned over, and the floodgates of mind have opened to receive of the source, that the river of good flows powerfully through into our experience, and prayer is answered. So let us go within and mentally overview our current experience, selecting a special area where we would like to experience the full and enriching, free-flowing presence of good, where we would like to experience an inrush of God. And let us say to ourselves, I of myself have done enough. I now connect with the God in me, perfect spirit that knows not of this or any other limitation. And I let the mighty power of divine life flow through me and this circumstance now in all its fullness and satisfaction, realigning, rearranging, reordering, and bringing all in this experience up to its own highest level of love. I stand in that faith beyond all human knowing, one with my own, beyond past experience, knowing Spirit has already gone before me, and I let what God wants to come into being, I let it come through. And so it is. And just one brief word, I found all my answers to this particular situation I've been dealing with for months. And at the point where I said, okay, this is not only my idea, it's God's idea. It's God's responsibility to fulfill this idea for me. And I said, I just know that it's all there. So where did I find all the things I was looking for? On River Road. So that was a great conclusion.